Hi everyone, it's currently mid-October. I've had a long break between vlog episodes, I'm afraid. I had some technical problems I had to sort out, but I am back on track now, so here's a brand new episode for you. This episode goes back a bit across August and September, covers some of the outings I've had during those 2 months. We had some gorgeous hot weather in August. And some awful weather, lots of rain in September and October. But I'm going to go back and recap some of the stuff I did. I had some really nice outings. I saw the manga exhibition at the British Museum. I went to Bristol with 2 good friends of mine, Katie and Rupa. We went to a place called the Wild Place Project, where they have a new exhibition which aims to sort of recreate what British woodlands would have been hundreds of years ago, when bears and wolves and lynx sort of roamed freely. So they have a new big area where they have those animals. They're not yet all living together in the same area, which is something they're working towards, but you can still go and see the animals that they have at the moment. Eurasian brown bears, which were really lovely to see, and they have a really huge area that at some point they're all going to be coexisting together, as they would have done in the past before humans came and took over the whole space for themselves. So it's kind of an interesting project, and it was really lovely to see the bears, so I'll show you some of that. I had a nice outing to the cinema with my partner, and other than that I've just been working hard on my book. I've spent quite a bit of time on Skype over the last couple of months. I had an Avery Hill Publishing meeting. I recorded a podcast talking about an Avery Hill book, which was really nice. I'm getting more used to recording podcasts, and it was a really nice chat. And I've got another podcast recording coming up soon. I've also had a few public speaking engagements. I've just finished one, and I've got another one coming up in November, but I'm going to talk about that more in the next episode of the vlog. I'll also quickly give you a little update on my chilli and tomato plants. I'll do that now before I get into the rest of the content I've got planned. Here are a few of my very small but very delicious cherry tomatoes that I've grown in my studio. There's lots and lots of really lovely white flowers growing on my chilli plant at the moment. And if you can see down here, there's a couple of chillies growing. There's a really little one. And also this really incredible huge one, which I don't know if you can really see the size of it, but there's my hand to give you an idea. I got signed out and I couldn't remember my password.
That happens to me all the time. I have no idea what my Skype password is.
I'm going to see the manga exhibition at the British Museum with my friend Carl.
59 to Houston.
I don't know if you remember in a previous episode me talking about how noisy it is living in London. Well, I'm having some evidence of that today. My neighbour's house had scaffolding on it for probably a year or something, and it feels like it was taken down about 6 months ago. And just yesterday they started putting up more scaffolding across the front and the back of the house, all the way up to the roof. And today the scaffolders are working right outside my studio window, so let's see if you can hear this.
It's time in 2 to 10 or 2 to 11. Sometimes you go 5 o'clock, call them, and they said, oh, sorry, mate, to make more.
I love Bristol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, fella. This one's a little bit smaller.
These two are bosses because they're in the big treat pile.
Yeah.
now. You can stop. Thanks. I realised that I hadn't done any drawing on the vlog in a while, so I thought I'd show you what I'm working on today, which is a comic for my Patreon. I do a monthly 2-page comic for my patrons. I use my Patreon as a way to experiment with new styles and new techniques, in the same way that I used to use my zine, Cat Zine, to just kind of experiment with things. A couple of illustrations I've done on Patreon recently have been around the exercise of working without outlines. So the way I'm working here is to draw the characters as silhouettes. So these characters were drawn like this, just as black shapes. And then the way I'm colouring is adding layers on top of those black shapes to add colour and texture. And it's a way of me keeping things much more simple than I usually do, and avoiding adding too much detail, and just seeing what I can learn from this new way of working. I think often people get slightly tired of the way they work out of habit, which for me at the moment, when I've been trying to draw comics fast, has been drawing outlines in pencil, except I use the iPad with a pencil tool, and then sort of filling that in with colour. So this is a whole new way of working to see what I can learn from it. I talk a little bit on my Patreon about other inspirations for this comic, but one obvious one you might be able to guess is the trip I took to Bristol to see the bears with my friends. But some of the stuff I've done with this visually, the shapes of the panels and things, I talk a bit on my Patreon about where the inspiration for that came from. I'm kind of liking this so far. I'm still working on the colours. I'm not sure what to do with the faces because I kind of like them being blank. But in this panel where they're quite large, I think they need something. So that's something I'm going to be working on as I progress with this. You can see that I'm adding pattern on a separate layer so that I'm able to erase it without erasing the colour underneath.